hallucination is when you have generative AI making up nonsense. So why it's so pernicious is that it doesn't make up any old nonsense. It makes up nonsense which looks unbelievably plausible. So we've already had, there was a famous case in the US, but we've now had a case in a tribunal in the UK where people are putting in submissions which have case references, which are just false cases. The AI's made them up. It's made up a name which sounds like a case, which has a citation, which looks like a citation, but it's just made it up as it went along. And that, I mean, the reason why AIs hallucinate is quite complicated, but again, trying just at the very simplistic level, it's because at the end of the day, they're probability machines. GenAI is generating a sequence of words in its response, and each word it generates, it then asks itself, what's the next most likely word to follow after I've given you this word? And if as soon as you realize it's thinking, if I can use that phrase, that word in this way, then it's not really that surprising that what can happen is that it can come up with something which is going to be plausible but isn't going to be right. It's a bit more complicated than that, because the extent to which AIs hallucinate depends on things like the hyperparameters, particularly the temperature you set the AI model to. So if you set what's called the temperature very, very low, then AI is always going to give you, in broad terms, the next, as it generates its material, it's going to give you the next word, which is the most likely next word to appear. And given that it sources the internet, that in very broad terms means it's going to give you something which is very like something which is out there somewhere. And if that something which is out there somewhere is right, then it's very likely to give you a right answer. But for reasons which are not well understood, certainly not well understood by me, if you turn the temperature for GenAI very low, it tends not to give you very good answers. They're not very creative answers. So generally, models by default have the temperature set higher, and that means they don't always generate their answers by giving you the most probable word to come next. They go randomly slightly further down the list of probable words, and that's why they start where they're more likely to start making things up and hallucinating. But because it's only less likely but still plausible, they're making up things which are plausible but wrong. It's fair to say that modern models, say the latest models from the big providers, are way better at this than some of the earlier generation ones. And by earlier generation, I mean, let's say 6 months ago. We're not going back far. These things are changing very quickly. So the hallucination problem is getting better and better over time, but it is still a real problem.